Calafiori to Arsenal is the biggest bit of transfer news that Arsenal have got at the minute. And there's news coming out that will leave Arsenal fans feeling slightly more optimistic that a deal for this Italian defender can't actually happen. But there's more good news as well, because there's a German international that Arsenal are in for, but they're keeping his name under wraps. Just so another Chelsea scenario doesn't happen. Just so another club don't come in and hijack the deal. I want to talk about that as well. But before we get into it, if you could, just very quickly, do me a favour, hit like on this video. So the first place I want to start is, of course, the Italian defender, Calafiori. So many people are excited about this potential deal. And the biggest name has come out and said that this is actually a possibility. Fabrizio Romano, you know it's real when you see that Fabrizio Romano tweet. You know, you hear all the rumours, but not until an Ornstein, or for me in particular, a Romano comes out and says, Arsenal have presented long-term proposal to Riccardo Calafiori after interest revealed last week. Understand the player's open to joining Arsenal if they can agree terms with Bologna. Chelsea is still there. Arsenal and Chelsea, the only two clubs in talks right now. So that goes to show, look, the player is open to joining Arsenal. If Arsenal want the player, they know what they have to do. They just have to pay the fee. Look, from what I'm hearing, the player would prefer to join Arsenal than Chelsea, just because Arsenal is more of a settled team at the minute. Arsenal at the minute is a more exciting proposition for incomings. We saw the situation with Mudryk, but now the information that's come out is, well, no, Chelsea offered him a better structure and more money. That's why that deal had to happen. He got pushed in the direction of Chelsea when he probably wanted to join Arsenal. So can a similar thing happen with Calafiori? You can never rule it out. But from everything I'm hearing, from everything I'm reading, it seems like this player does want to come to Arsenal. So that leaves us to a point where we can have some discussions and talk about how good is this player. What would this player offer this Arsenal team? Let me know. You know, what do we do in terms of left? Does he come in and play left back? Because if I'm being honest, I thought Calafiori was more of a left centre back. I wouldn't be surprised if Mikel Arteta plays him out there, because I think at times last season, our best defence probably was when we had Tomiyasu out there. Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Saliba and Ben White. That's almost 4 centre-backs. And we've seen with Pep Guardiola, we've seen with other teams around Europe, teams don't mind now playing 4 centre-backs in all of those defensive positions, because it gives you a strength in defence. It gives you a solidity that is very hard when you have these marauding fullbacks that like to get forward. So if you have 4 big, strong centre-backs playing in those back rows, that can play out wide. And I think Calafiori can play out wide. Let me know if you've watched more of him than me. What can he offer to this Arsenal team? And if he does come in, you know, where do you see him playing? Do you see him playing as left back, or do you see him as more of a rotation option for Gabriel in that left centre-back role? Let me know. But in terms of the player, like I said, I like him. This is a deal I would go for, but then that does leave you asking what happens with the other defensive options. We know we've got Timber, who a lot of us are excited about. A lot of us want to see Timber try and secure that left-back position. Zinchenko, what happens with Zinchenko? The rumours with Bayern Munich are still there. Do we let him go? Kivior, rumours that Juventus want him. Juventus are going to step up interest. So my understanding of this Calafiori situation is Arsenal will have to sell a player like Kivior or Zinchenko before they bring Calafiori in. Otherwise, they're probably going to be overloaded. We might just have too many defensive options if we bring him in. We know we got Tomiyasu as well. Don't forget about Tomiyasu. He's not going anywhere. So that would be a lot of defenders. Do you need that many defenders now with the Premier League, with the Champions League, with all these international tournaments, competitions, games that these players are expected to play at the highest of levels? Do you need massive squads now? Do you see Arsenal bringing in Calafiori and not letting go of any defenders? Let me know your thoughts on it. The next piece I wanted to touch on is this German international that Arsenal are interested in bringing in. I think this is fascinating because, look, the names being mentioned are, listen to this, Leroy Sane, Musiala, Kimmich, Writz and Gnabry. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at them players and saying yes to absolutely every single one. I wouldn't mind any of those players being in an Arsenal shirt next season, playing at the Emirates. Leroy Sane, we know what he can offer. Arsenal fans are saying we need maybe a bit of pace up front. Leroy Sane definitely offers you that. In terms of output, his numbers probably don't look that enticing, but I wouldn't worry about that. I think Arteta with Leroy Sane can be deadly. We know those two had a brilliant link at Man City when they were both there. Leroy Sane speaks very highly of Mikel Arteta. So I'm sure a joining up again of these two, Leroy Sane would be up for it. I'm sure Mikel Arteta likes the profile of the player. What kind of cost would be involved? I don't think it would be a massive fee. I don't think it would be anywhere near the 80, 90, 100 million mark. So Leroy Sane for me could be an interesting option and one that I would definitely go for. Musiala and Wirtz, I think these are both very good players. I would take them both, but it just depends on what Mikel Arteta will want to play next season. Will he want the two more attacking central midfielders like we saw early in the season with Kai Havertz being played as the 8? Odegaard, Musiala, Wirtz, Odegaard, they all play similar-ish positions. So unless Mikel Arteta wants to go super attacking, then I don't see these guys coming in, to be honest. Musiala, we've seen him in this competition. He's kept Wirtz out of the team. I thought Wirtz was going to have a very good tournament. Musiala looks a very, very exciting player. He will cost an absolute fortune. If anyone is to pry him away from Bayern Munich, they're going to have to pay a massive, massive fee. Will Arsenal do that? The news that I've always heard, or whispers that I've heard coming out of the club, is Arsenal aren't looking to do that blockbuster deal. Arsenal aren't expected to sign that £100 million player. And with Jamal Musiala, you're absolutely going to have to exceed that £100 million mark, I would imagine, because it's a top-class player, top-class youngster, one of the best young players in world football. So I can't see that one happening, if I'm being honest. Kimmich. We've spoke about Kimmich on the channel. You guys have gave your opinion on Kimmich on the channel. Everybody wants Kimmich. Some people would play him as right back and drop Ben White from the team. I think that would probably be harsh. We know this is a player who has qualities to play in CDM. But I'm looking at it and saying he's not played there for his club. He's not played there for his country. We all know he can do it. But why is he not played there for these teams? Is it just because they need a right back more and he can play both of those positions? I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'd definitely take him at the club. And I would probably even try him in midfield just to see how he gets on, because his quality is undeniable. It's a very, very good player. So Kimmich is an exciting one. I think that is a possibility for Arsenal to do the Kimmich deal for sure. And then the last one is Serge Gnabry. We know the romanticism behind this deal. Played for Arsenal, got shipped out, and now there's a possibility of him coming back. Would he want to come back to start behind Bukayo Saka? I don't think he would see it that way. Look, so many times last season we saw Bukayo Saka play. You know, he's almost starting every single game, and you're thinking, if we had a different option, there can be some more rotation. So it's not like he would come in and feel like he's being second fiddle, because there are more than enough games to go around for a good player, a good right winger to come in and play one week, and then Saka plays the next week, and they're kind of being rotated and they're being brought on in the games as well. One starts one week, gets 60 minutes. The other one next week starts, gets 60 minutes. I think that would really strengthen that right-hand side. Serge Gnabry would be a really good addition. Are his injury problems a concern? I don't know. If I'm being honest, I haven't followed his career closely enough to know every single injury since he left Arsenal. It would seem to me from the outside looking in, this is a player who picks up a couple of injuries. I could be wrong on that. Let me know. But I wouldn't mind the player, because he wouldn't be playing every single minute of every single game anyway. So it's not like he would be overloaded with minutes. He wouldn't be putting his body in a compromised position by playing every single game like Saka did, because, like we just said, he will be a rotation player. He would get plenty of minutes without feeling like a backup option. So all of those names there interest me for different reasons. If I had to whittle those names down in terms of realistically, I think the main three realistic ones would be Gnabry, Kimmich, or Leroy Sane. What one would I want? The one that's most exciting to me. Also, Gnabry can play left and right, by the way. We know that he's a versatile player, so he can play either side as well, which would be handy. But I don't think we need that backup on the left-hand side. If I want one of them players and I could pick Sane, Kimmich, or Gnabry, I would go probably at the minute for Leroy Sane. I've always liked the player. Ever since he was at Man City, there was just something about Leroy Sane that really stood out to me. And I always thought, I'd love to have him at Arsenal. You know, he's a very likeable player. I like the way he plays, very direct. We saw his quality in the Champions League. And even in the Euros, we've seen his quality. Not played every single minute, but his quality is, you know, you can't really question it because everybody can see. For me, I would go Leroy Sane. Let me know which one of those names you would go for. Do you think it's possible? Do you think Arsenal are working on this deal. The word we're hearing are this is actually happening. Arsenal are speaking and making deals happen behind the scenes, but they just don't want it out in public because they don't want a transfer battle. They don't want a negotiation to spiral out of control and then kind of getting a transfer bid with a team that they don't really want to. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts on Calafiori. Where do you see him playing? Do you think it would be a good option? Who would you sell? Would you sell anyone? Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could, like I said, just do me the favor, hit like on this video. Just like it and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.